at 18 or 19, ended up having her getting pregnant again shortly after, maybe 6 months afterwards. And I'll never forget, we were talking in a fast food restaurant, and she was like, Miss LaRonda, I think I'm going to get an abortion. And it crushed me. It really crushed me.
It's okay. It's okay. Take your time.
It brought back all those memories of where I was at, close to her age, and I was like, don't do it.
You know, it's been said that the things that don't kill us make us stronger.
Yes.
And the scripture in the Bible says that all things work together for good to those who love God. And when bad things happen or come into our life, we don't really understand how those things are going to play out. But because we know who we are and because we know we love God, we know that those things work together for good. So that experience that you had positioned you to be there for that young woman who needed a voice. She needed to hear from someone that had been there, that had done it. And something you said was very powerful. You said, I had to learn to forgive myself.
That was hard.
And in that forgiveness, it allowed you to be there for her. Had you not gotten to that place of forgiveness of yourself, you would not have even been free to share that with her.
So true. I would have kept that inside.
You would have kept it inside. So even those bad things, that scripture that says all things work together for good, it doesn't say all good things. It says all things.
That's true.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. And it might not at that moment work for your good, but for the good of that young woman who needed a shoulder to lean on and somebody to help her. It worked together for her good. So I'm thankful that you were able to share with her, that you were able to share with her from an authentic place, from a place of experience, not a place of judgment, from a place of love. You were able to share your experience. And that's what we're called to do. You know, that's why we have tests and trials, in order to have a testimony, in order to be able to share that love and that care with someone else. So I applaud you for being able to do that. The other thing you said, that you shared it with your parents. And that was a very mature thing to do, because you took control. You took responsibility for it and shared it with your parents. And every act makes us stronger. Even though you had gone through a lot of bad things, you became stronger through all of those experiences that you went through. And we know that life, bad things happen. But God has put something in us that allows us to bounce back. That resiliency to come back and be better for it on the other side. So in sharing your story, you know, you moved from that place of going through the bullying and being a victim, from then going through this experience that you had in college, and then having to have an abortion. That was a bad thing. That was a terrible thing.
It was.
But you were able to recover from that, and then be able to help someone else. So, you know, we live, we learn, but more importantly, we grow.
That's so true.
We grow.
That's so true. And that's part of my mission now, where I became a certified life coach and started a company, Hope Empowerment Resources, is because I really want to help those that may not be abortion, but something is stuck, cause them to have pain or resentment and grudges. How do you move forward? You have to forgive. You know, forgiveness is for you. It's not about the other person. You have to, like you said, set free. You have to be able to be free so you can help others. If you got all these things bottled up, you can't help the next person. And so, like you said, I would have never been able to talk to my mentee about what I've been through if I hadn't, you know, began that process and that journey of forgiving myself. And, you know, unfortunately, she did go through with it, but I realized at that point that I had to share my story. Maybe I didn't save her. We all have our journey. And that's a part of her journey. But I want to be able to help that next young woman that I help and eventually and hopefully somebody will grab a hold of what I'm telling them through my story, and not have to go through that pain.
Yes.
You know, if I can help one,
yes.
you know, I've helped so many, because it's not something that you want to go through if you can help it.
Yeah.
So,
LaRonda, you have shared with us a powerful,
yes,
powerful story of forgiveness, and also being able to go
yes.
through lots of things and come out on the other side stronger and better. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you.
We're going to come back with more from LaRonda in just a moment. We're back with certified life coach LaRonda Howard. LaRonda, please tell our audience what's next for LaRonda.
Well, I recently published a book, Finding Freedom and Forgiveness is the name of it, and it's really talking about some of the things that I mentioned during this interview. It's really talking about how to forgive others, you know, how I forgave myself, and that process of how. I also talk about the health benefits. As someone that's been in the public health field, it was very important that I also talk about those benefits of forgiving others that we may not know or others may not know, like reducing high blood pressure and just reducing stress and anxiety and those types of things.
Okay.
So all of those, that process.
And forgiveness plays a part in
yes,
all of that.
It does.
Okay.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
And I was just fascinated when I began to research forgiveness, how it really impacts us not only physically, mentally, and spiritually. So I really talk about those different elements in the book.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I also have the workbook. So part 2 is coming out along with the journal. So working different parts of the book. It's been an honor not only be on this show, but a lot of people are beginning to read my book and want me to come out and speak. So I've been afforded the opportunity to do a lot of public speaking engagement. So that's what I've been doing.
And how would someone that was interested in getting your book and also getting you for speaking engagements, how would they be able to reach you?
Well, they can reach me at 904-803-2229. They can also find me on Facebook on the LaRonda Howard. I'm on Instagram, Hope Coach L. So there's a few different ways you can reach me.
Okay. LaRonda, you have shared a powerful story, a testimony of the value of forgiveness. So thank you so much for sharing that information with us.
Thank you.
We really enjoyed having you on our
much.
show. It was a pleasure. God bless you.
God bless you.
We'll be back with Dr. Deborah Williams with some additional resources. We're back with Dr. Deborah Williams. Dr. Williams, LaRonda had a powerful, powerful story.
Yes, she did.
There were a lot of things in her story. One thing she covered was bullying at a very young age, and then she talked about the effects of that and how it played out in her life as an adult. And then she talked about having to have an abortion as a young woman in college. And all of those things were very traumatic. What kind of resources could you suggest or offer to someone that may be dealing with, I know that's a wide range of issues, but it all kind of plays in together, don't you think?
Yes, absolutely. Both of those situations, it's just a building on another thing. It all starts with one core image, which is low self-esteem. How we view ourselves is such a major impact in our entire lives. It is how we fashion the things that we can do. It's how we allow people to play a role in our life. It's about how we interact with the world. Some of the resources that people have when they're going through those things, the best thing is support groups. I find that people who have gone through those particular situations need to know that they're not alone. So yes, individual counseling helps, but some of the major findings have found that group supports for those types of situations is actually even more impactful than just individual counseling by itself.
And the benefit of that is knowing that you're not alone.
Yes.
That there are others that have had to experience the exact same things.
Yes.
Yeah, so group counseling.
And LaRonda made a very valid point of it has to be transparent. the more that you keep it within you, it allows it to fester and to degrade you even more. Shame is a place that the enemy uses to keep you held and to keep you bound. And the way that you release yourself and defeat the enemy is to expose him, because he can only operate in darkness. So when you've gone through something that traumatic, the best thing that you can do is to tell your story, which she has done with her life and becoming a certified life coach. How much more can you defeat the enemy by exposing him like that? So for anybody that's gone through any of these types of situations, not only just the bullying or the abortion, but any type of abuse, any type of neglect that they've gone through, the more you are transparent is the more that you heal. It sounds counterintuitive, but the more that you share and see what your testimony does for other people, it actually turns around and heals you as well.
What it can do in the lives of others.
Yes. And with the clients that I've dealt with in my counseling sessions, when they tell their story, sometimes I don't have to come back in and say anything, because it is a healing process
the act
itself.
of telling the story.
Just the act of telling the story.
Yeah. Dr. Williams, thank you so much for those additional resources. Absolutely. I do know that LaRonda's story was so powerful.
Yes, it was.
And so amazing that it's going to help a lot of people, just the act of her being able to share it. Because there are others that have gone through the same thing.
Yes.
And don't know that they can go through that, they can survive, and that they can be better for it on the other side.
Find a team, find a support group, get a group of people that can help to build you back up.
And get some help.
Yes.
Dr. Williams, thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
I'll be back in just a moment with some final comments. After listening to LaRonda's story, she had an amazing story, a very emotional story, a very, at times, painful story, but a very important story. Part of her story was about being bullied as a child. And, you know, we take that very lightly, but after listening to her story, we can see how very detrimental bullying can be, especially if it starts at a very young age. She went all through her formative years being bullied at school, in the neighborhood, and that affected her self-esteem. It altered the way she felt about herself, even as a young woman. So we have to do what we can do to put an end to bullying, because if it is something that's that detrimental, it's going to affect your life for the rest of your life in a negative way, then it needs to be stopped. So if you know someone that is a bully, it's time to shut them down. Tell somebody, let somebody know. If you yourself are being bullied, speak out, reach out, get some help. That does not have to be a part of our lives. No child should go through their life being bullied and mistreated by others. If you see something, you have to say something. We all have a responsibility to protect our children. It starts at home, it starts at school, in the neighborhood. We have to pay attention to our children and make sure that they are being loved, nurtured, and cared for, and not bullying. Thank you so much for watching our show.